Hey, we're back. We're recording this, so this is going to be on YouTube. So whatever you can get right now, you can go to our YouTube channel, Realty Executives, all cities. Just Google that on YouTube, and all the previous recordings are there. I encourage you to subscribe to that channel. So don't just look at the recordings. Subscribe to the channel. That will come out with the reminders. I know that one of the talks we had is bringing the 1031 exchange representative again. There's 2 classes in there for 1031 exchange that I encourage you guys to look at it. All right, so Michael wanted to present this particular topic, and who's good at negotiating here? With their kids. Okay, moms are really good at negotiating with their kids. Dads, how you doing negotiating with your kid? The new dad over here. I think he's losing all the battles because he has a little girl, and I understand that, you know. But negotiation is the name of the game, and so this topic is really going to help us out. I want you guys to take copious notes, as the old, Bruce Mulhern used to say. He would always start his meetings with take copious notes. I don't know if you guys ever interviewed with him. I think everybody interviewed with him. But take a lot of notes and ask questions after. And if you want something to be clarified to you that you didn't understand, as the topic was, being talked about, ask Michael, Martina, and I, or anybody in here that can help you. If there's a particular topic that you guys want us to bring to a meeting, or a particular speaker that has a unique set of skills that can help us all out, please let us know. All right, so without further ado, let's bring Michael Johnson to speak to us and teach us some wonderful stuff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. How's everybody?
Good.
Doing good? Great, great. I think the subject of negotiation is pretty much perfect for this time because, as Sean said, hey, it's getting slimmer out there. We're going to have to know how to perform, and we're only going to have 1 or 2 chances when we're in front of the client in order to make things work. So negotiation is very, very important. It's a very valuable part of our lives and our business. We negotiate every day. We negotiate with our spouses and with our friends and families and children and all of that. So it's very important to us to get our negotiating skills down. So I went to Webster, wanted to find out what Webster had to say about negotiation. And it's to discuss something formally in order to make an agreement, to get over, through, or around something successfully. Negotiation is always a two-way street. Both parties intend to agree on terms that are mutually beneficial, and the outcome should ensure a productive business relationship. So what are the attributes of negotiating? Negotiation is a phenomenon that has been given due attention as a specialization. I want you to understand that. As a specialization, that means that if you become really good at it, you're going to persuade more people to go into your direction. Successful negotiators are not limited by trade, which means that if you're good at negotiation in real estate, you'll be good at negotiating somewhere else as well. In fact, they've carved out a niche for themselves. Negotiation is a business with unlimited scope. So professionals, we should be aware of and prepared for the negotiation process. And we should always try to negotiate win-win situations all the time. How should we approach a negotiation? Lena, could you turn the volume down a little bit? I'm hearing some feedback here. We should always be aware of the ideal scenario before we go into negotiation. We should also be aware of the worst case scenario. Most importantly is that we need to be prepared mentally. We should do our homework, and we should always be persistent. The best negotiators I know are children. Why is that? Because they're persistent. If you tell them no, they'll reframe the question and shoot it right back at you. They do not give up. They don't know how to give up, and we should not either. So the 4 points of this presentation we're going to go over is, number 1, the negotiation points of the purchase agreement, the 7 types of negotiators, attributes of a professional negotiator, and top tips for negotiation. So first of all, I want to start with the purchase agreement because I want you guys to be very aware that there are certain points of the purchase agreement that you're going to enter into a negotiation type situation. So, I'm gonna kick it off. The first type of negotiation that we enter into, of course, is creating the offer, right? Offer, counter offer, I will believe that's the strongest point of our negotiation. So, what's the second point? What you want to think about is what are the timelines of the contract? So I'm gonna throw this out to the audience. I want you guys to tell me. The first strongest point, of course, was when you negotiate. What is the second timeline, or really the first timeline of a purchase agreement?
The good faith deposit.
The good faith deposit. That's right. Not really a negotiation point so much because we've already negotiated that up front. But there's
Contingencies?
the contingencies. Very good. What is the first contingency?
Home inspection,
That's right. Now, this is for my younger people, because what happens in 17 days, you have to get your inspection done. It's very critical. Is there going to be any negotiation going on during that time?
yep.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is number one deal killer. Okay? Is your inspection. You get to the inspection, you get the inspector to go out, and what happens? You're in a negotiation situation. So what do you have to do? You have to be prepared for that. You have to prepare your buyer for it. What's the second one after the 17 days?
Appraisal?
Appraisal.
The appraisal. That's right. Is it necessary for us to really look ahead during this period of time to be aware of the appraisal? Do you feel appraisal is going to be coming in low?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're not ready for that negotiation, we're going to have a challenge. What's the third one?
If you're dealing with a pre-sale report in that particular city, it's something also to be included in the contingency.
Okay, so Virginia said the pre-sale report. I know pre-sale reports are in Compton, and Carson, and Wilmington, and where else?
Southgate.
Southgate, absolutely.
Englewood,
So
Gardens.
that's all a part of the negotiation when it comes to inspection. After the appraisal, what's after that?
Fund approval,
No, we have another one before then.
termite,
Nope. What about loan contingency? It's 21 days, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Removing it.
That's right. 21 days. So here's what you got. You got 17 days for inspection. That's the first negotiation. 21 days for your loan contingency. 3 big negotiations that you gotta be aware of. What's one after that, Mr. Gonzalez? Oh, an appraisal. I'm sorry.
Appraisal.
An appraisal. That's right. Appraisal, loan contingency, inspection, all within 21 days that you gotta be prepared to negotiate. What about after that?
Full approval.
Your approval. Absolutely. After approval, then we have closing, right? All right, is there any negotiation in closing sometimes?
yep.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
before removing the contingencies, if things haven't gotten done, correctly, whether inspection or appraisal or whatever, you're still negotiating.
Absolutely, I
You
love
need an
that.
extension of time.
I love that. Removing contingencies. Could that be a problem?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right. So if you're not prepared for the negotiations up front, because that's what a good negotiator does, he does his homework, she does her homework, then we will have challenges. But if you're prepared, if you get your buyer prepared, you get your seller prepared for what's going on, then it'll be a lot smoother. It'll be a lot smoother. Great job. Let's talk about the 7 types of negotiators. All right, I'd like you to write this down, then we're going to talk about a little bit about these negotiating personalities. But when you write them down, I want you to do 2 things for me. Number 1, I want you to think about what type of negotiator you are. And number 2, what type of negotiator your spouse or either your children are. Okay, we'll have some fun with it. All right? So the first type of negotiator is, write this down, the people pleaser. The people pleaser. Number 2, king of the hill. King of the hill. Number 3, earnest and honest.
So repeat that, Mike.
Number 3,
Mhm.
earnest and honest. Number 4, linear, logical. Linear spelled L-I-N-E-A-R. Logical, linear, logical. Number 5, the emotional ping pong. as in a ping pong ball. Number 6, the expediter. The expediter. Everybody know what an expediter is?
Yes.
Hurry, hurry.
Hurry, hurry, let's get it done. Come on, come on. Number 7 is the rocking chair. The rocking chair. Okay, so when we start talking about the 7 types of negotiators, you gotta understand, first of all, for you to be effective, you gotta understand the type of negotiator you are. Okay, that's the first type. So let's look at a regular purchase agreement. We can have the buyer, his wife, that's 2. Have yourself, that's 3. Have the listing agent, that's 4. Have their clients, 5, 6. That's the minimum amount of people that you're gonna have. But you also have the loan rep. You also have the title rep. You also got escrow. If it gets hairy, you got the listing agent, the selling agent's broker. It could be up to 10 different types of individuals that can be in a negotiation. If any one of those people have dual personalities, then we really have problems, right? Okay, so I want to go around the room real quickly just for the fun of it. I want to ask everyone what type of negotiator they think they are, okay? And also, there's one other thing I want to tell you guys. There's a negotiation style when everything is going good, and there's a negotiation style when the stakes are high. Sometimes our personalities tend to change and our negotiation styles change as well, okay? So I'm gonna start with Amber. Amber, what type of negotiator are you?
People pleaser.
People pleaser. Gonzalez,
Linear logical.
linear logical. Maricela. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not an agent.
She's okay. All right, but you're still a negotiator because you gotta do something, so I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay. This young lady here?
Earnest and honest.
Earnest and honest.
Maybe emotional people.
The emotional ping pong. Okay. The gentleman in the back.
Earnest and honest and linear and logical.
Kind of dual personality there. Lionel.
It's a combination, you know, depending on,
Exactly.
I'm able to really step out, you know, when crises are in, or be empathetic when, you know, we need to be empathetic.
Okay, which one are you?
Linear.
Linear logical? Okay. Rafi.
I'm the chameleon.
You don't know
You're
that.
not a dick.
I'm looking at all of them, but if I had to choose one, linear logical, but I'm looking at everything except for emotional ping pong.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I've
You've done it.
been that,
Mm-hmm.
no more. I think just depending on, like you said, just it changes. If I had to choose one, number 4, but besides that, I can go
Okay.
with the flow of whatever's happening.
All right. So I'm gonna go around the room one more time. When the stakes are high, when stress is high, what are you?
Earnest and honest.
Earnest and honest.
Maybe the hurry that has
The expediter. Very good.
emotional ping pong.
Emotional ping pong.
Linear logic.
You gonna stay solid. Okay, Virginia.
Usually expediter and emotional.
The emotional ping pong expediter. When the stakes are high, that's where you are. Gonzalez.
The earnest and honest.
Earnest and
So
honest.
that's the only way.
Okay.
That's what it
Roberto,
is.
I skipped over you the first time. My apologies.
Yeah, but first, linear and logical.
Negotiate that right now.
Earnest and honest.
Okay.
Okay.
What was it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the first round,
Yeah.
you didn't ask me.
I'm
So
sorry.
linear and logical.
Linear logical.
Now it's earnest and,
So when the stakes are high, you're earnest and honest.
It's the facts.
Okay, absolutely. Raphael.
Linear logical.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the stakes are high, yeah.
Linear logical.
Linear logical.
Control
You wanna-
your
Earnest
energy.
and honest.
Earnest and honest. Okay. Sean.
Expediter.
Let's get it
All right.
done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Excellent. Okay, the people pleaser. Basically, their type is, hey, they'll give the farm away, right? You know, I just want you to like me. I just want you to like me, okay. You want the house for free? Sure, no problem. You know? The king of the hill. Gonzalez, what is the king of the hill?
I don't know.
Trump. Why would?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
I'm the best.
The king of the hill always gotta win. I don't care if you don't get anything, as long as I win, I'm good. It's my way or the highway. Kinda like I am. I'm that kind of negotiator when the stress gets high. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my wife.
Yeah.
It's my way, the highway, and she says, we'll hit the highway. So I never win, but
Did you
anyway.
say you're familiar with 91?
Exactly. Earnest and honest, pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay. Linear, logical,
Analytical.
analytical, very analytical. If it doesn't make any, now here's the thing about a linear, logical negotiator. You can't rush them. If they want to read the whole contract, just sit back and let them read the contract, because that's basically what they're gonna do.
The
Motion.
wonderful thing about that, Michael, because I've had clients that done that, you know, engineer, architects, they'll come back and teach you the contract. And really, you get stuff that you didn't know. Honest. I'm being honest. Some of the stuff's been taught by my own clients.
And then we can invite them back for a class.
Exactly. Emotional ping pong. What are those? What-
Anything happens,
Yes,
Anything good happens, emotion. Anything
right.
bad happens, emotion.
So driven by emotions.
that's right. Is that good or bad?
It's bad.
Bad.
It could be.
It
Pretty
depends.
good.
It depends on the
Depends.
person.
It really is on the deal.
Here's another question. What if the agent is in emotional ping pong?
Oh, that's a bad one.
Referring to the contract that he agreed upon.
That's right.
Always.
That's right. The expediter,
Right now.
right now. Come on, let's go.
Where are my
Let's get it
disclosures?
done.
Where are they?
Risky.
My
Let's get it done.
disclosures.
It's risky.
It's risky. Why is it risky?
You can miss some steps along the way. It can cause a
That's
delay,
right.
delay in the process.
That's right. How do you deal with the expediter?
Be linear and logical.
Slow him down.
Yeah.
Slow him down. You can't slow him down to a stop or he's out.
Let's pump the brakes, Sean.
You can just slow him down and he'll get impatient. He'll give you everything you want.
The nature of my business requires that. It depends upon the nature of the business.
Okay, the rocking chair.
Waiting and see what happens.
Yes and no?
And
Yeah,
Procrastination.
yeah. Just hey man, you know what? I'll see how it goes. You know, let's see how it goes. Okay. All right. Write this down. People buy and sell emotional and justify logically. People buy and sell emotionally and they justify logically. That's what you should be looking at with your clients. Everybody will buy and sell emotionally and they'll justify it logically. Okay?
Example.
I'm sorry?
Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. When people are buying emotionally, they will, let's say when they're selling emotionally, let's look at it this way. You know what? I am not going to give that washer and dryer away. Do you realize Uncle Charlie gave me that washer and dryer? And I'm not going to do it. That's an emotional type thing. It doesn't make any sense, and they'll justify it. Uncle Charlie was my best uncle. He gave me that washer and dryer. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. Okay?
Now,
Justify emotionally.
I have a good example for that you could use. So, like on the houses that I show, like if it's near the beach or like near a good school, you paint the picture. Oh look, your kids could go to this great school. You know, because they're gonna buy it emotionally. You know, that's what's gonna be the trigger, the emotion. Oh, but it's $30,000 more than the other one. Then you justify logically. Oh, because it's a better area, it's a better, you know. So that's a good way to use it, I think.
I love it. You paint the picture. You
Paint
know
the
what
picture.
your school is gonna be, I mean, your child's gonna be an honor student. They're going to the best school. Yeah, I know it's $30,000 more, but you know what, it's worth it. Don't you think your child is worth that? Yeah, it is. Emotionally, they make the decision,
Just
then they justify spending the extra $30,000. Okay, remember that. Be the analyzer in the transaction, Virginia. We gotta analyze the transaction, and we have to remove ourselves from the transaction. Because remember, we're the rock. We're the rock in the river. The transaction is flowing, but we gotta be solid. We cannot really take on any characteristic of any of these negotiating types because it's not our deal. It's our client's deal. So we have to help them. Question, how do we determine what type of negotiator our clients are? How do we determine that?
Asking questions.
Asking questions? Any
observing
other?
them.
Observing them? Very
Observing
good.
Yeah, I agree with both.
Asking questions. What kind of questions would you ask?
I would ask a lot of open-end questions.
Okay, all right.
How do you feel? What do you think? You know, why? You know, what? Why? How?
Okay.
When?
Anyone else?
Give me answers to that.
I would ask, if we find a home that you are looking for today, are you ready to write an offer?
How would that help you with the type of negotiator they are?
Well, I want to find out how decisive they are in the first time that we're going to go out and see a house.
Okay,
That's usually a question I ask for a first timer.
okay,
Because if they say no, then I said, you know, well, we'll take that no, we will write an offer today. I will
Okay.
not prepare.
excellent, excellent. How about this? Why don't you just ask him?
Mhm.
Why don't you just ask him? Why don't you have a conversation with him and say, you know what? We're gonna be in a negotiating type situation coming up in the future. And I just kinda like to know what fits well with you, okay? Now, obviously, you can't ask them this when you're in the negotiation. This is a question you gotta ask in the beginning. This is a icebreaker question. This is just a I'm over coffee question. And you ask them, say, you know what, there are these 7 type of negotiators I found pretty interesting. Which one do you think fits your personality best? Okay? Then when you get into the negotiation, you know what you're dealing with. You know what you're dealing with. You can do this with buyers a lot easier than sellers. Because when you are in a seller's, you're pretty much in the negotiation. When you walk into their house to take the listing, you're pretty much in the negotiation. Now, unless you can speak to the seller before you get there, this is a great way for you to ask them in a very way of having conversation, okay? All right, very good. Let's talk about the attributes of a professional negotiator. We want to remain emotionally rock solid. We want to remain emotionally rock solid, which includes don't lose your cool, keep your nerve. Remember, be the eye of the storm. You know what happens in the eye of the storm?
Real calm.
Super calm. Birds fly in the eye of a storm. When all hell is breaking loose all around them, everything is peaceful. I'm cool. I'm the rock. No matter what happens, I'm going to stay solid. I'm the rock in the river. Okay? And whenever things get really nasty, always seek the higher ground. We're the better person, Virginia. We're always the better person. I'm never going to fall to any type of tactics that are undermining or dirty. Okay? I'm going to try to keep my client that way too. Okay? We want to provide a 360-degree perspective. 360-degree perspective. The only way that you can do that, you got to step outside the situation. Because if you're in the situation, you can only see one way. Okay? We want to step outside the situation and provide a 360-degree perspective. And we want to keep our client's eye on the prize. When we're negotiating, what happens, the little things get in the way. You know? I mean, I think about this with me and my wife. Sometimes, you know, I'm dealing on the little things, and the big thing is over here, and we didn't lose sight. I think it's called bickering, arguing, you know, and we didn't lose sight of really what's important. Keep your client's eye on the prize. Okay. I like this one. Allow the process to unfold. Allow the process to unfold. Things doesn't have to happen right now all the time. If you step back, you can just kind of let things unfold and see which way it goes. You may be surprised. You won't have to do a lot. Allow the process to unfold. Stay relationally connected. Stay relationally connected. And constantly seek common ground. Always, and this is the best negotiation tactic that I know of, is to seek the common ground of both sides. Okay? When things start to go sideways, what is the common ground here? What does a buyer and seller have in common? So we can bring this back to a 0.0 type situation. And this is a tough one, especially for us. Always be willing to walk away. Now, this is tough, right? Especially if you only have one deal, and that deal is predicated if you pay your mortgage or not. You got to always be able to walk away, okay? You have to always tell your client, hey, we can walk away from this. And one thing about this, you can't be bluffing. You can't be bluffing. Don't throw a bluff. You know what, we gonna walk, don't do that.
Can I give you guys a
Either
quick
you are
example
or you're
of
not.
that?
Go ahead.
So recently I've been renting offers for one particular client, and we got quite a few offers accepted, and we, there was things happening with the property and stuff like that. But in this particular case, we got a property was $1,160,000, we offer $1,050,000. And they came back with $1,100,000. And we said, no, thank you. So we pretty much walked away, right? We had another property, so we walked away knowing that we had another property. The other property was 1.2, we never even got considered for that one. So my client got a really good taste that kind of like, I'm too good for these properties, but all of a sudden they didn't even get noticed in the other one. Now the $1,050,000 came back and say, we'll do it for $1 million. We'll give you the patio chairs. And what else was included? There was something else, there was some heating and some furniture inside. So there is a tactical walk away before, when you don't have something, and there is this contractual walk away that they feel the pain. And this particular one, there's 3 ones for the same client that I felt, but for this one, it was wow. They were bluffing. They were bluffing because in less than a week, all of this unfolded. And now we were in a position to come back and say, okay, we're now gonna get it cheaper. We got the furniture, we got this, we got that, because they were bluffing to begin with, not having really good, strong ground.
Beautiful. Hey, be willing to walk away. Okay. Little word to the wise. Don't turn the other side into the villain. If you do, you get to live with the villain. Okay? Don't, what that basically means is that if you're negotiating and you start talking poorly about the other agent, well, guess what? You get to live with that agent. You know? You make the monster, you get to live with the monster. So, don't do that. It's always good to pop by in the middle of a negotiation. If things aren't going really well, you can always pop by. I remember back when Michael Jackson was trying to get the rights to the Beatles, and there was this big court case going back and forth, and they were deadlocked, they couldn't do it. And then Mike showed up in the courtroom. Then all of a sudden he did a pop-by. Then all of a sudden when he did the pop-by, they said, oh yeah, man, this is an icon, this is the pop star, and he made the deal happen because he popped by in the middle of the negotiation.
I did that last year. We were having a lot of problems in the middle of the transaction, and it was really bad. So I decided to go in person to meet the listing agent at her office, and I took a little gift to introduce myself and talk to her in person. And that helped us save the deal because she saw me and we talked honestly about the situation and the options, and she was willing to wait and work with us.
Beautiful, because you popped by. That's right. Hey, this is a people thing. This is a people thing. People will understand. Once you appear personally, they'll understand. Let's talk about the top tips for negotiating. First of all, we got to analyze the people and everybody that's involved. Okay? Avoiding getting our commission cut. Your compensation is not part of the transaction. I want you guys to understand that. Your compensation is just like the title fees, just like the escrow fees, just like anything else. I don't know where we get the idea that we can give our livelihood away. So when folks say, hey, listen, can you cut your commission? It's like, well, my commission is not part of this transaction. Sorry. Okay. Let's get away from that. When we're representing a buyer, we want to make sure that they know the property that we want to write the offer on first. Okay?
Repeat that, Mike.
When representing a buyer, when you see multiple properties, we want to ask the buyer, is this the property you want to write your offer on first? Okay? In other words, you're getting a commitment out of the agent. Okay, let's talk about the magic phrases, the magic words that make things happen. Because a lot of times it's the words that you use that make things happen, okay? One of the words is fair, as it's a fair offer. It's a fair offer, okay? The second word is reasonable, reasonable. This sounds reasonable. Third one, unusual, such as, that's not unusual. Fourth is comfortable. I want to make sure you're comfortable. Fifth is coming, such as, I see where you're coming from. The next one is, so what I'm hearing you say. What I'm hearing you say. So what I'm hearing you say is. Let's talk about these a little bit. What happens in our business, our clients don't know what we know, okay? So if they get an offer that's too low or whatever, they're gonna blow your stack, you can always calm them down by saying, you know what, that's a fair offer. It's fair, it may not be the offer we're gonna accept, but it's a fair offer.
Or that's not unusual to get a.
Oh, that's not unusual at all. Or in a time of inspection, they want whatever, well, you know, that's not unusual. We could work through that. You wanna use words that calm your client down, okay? Reasonable, that sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. Virginia, I want to make sure you're comfortable with this offer. Or I want to make sure that you're comfortable making a counter offer. Okay? I understand. People want to know that you care. People want to know that you understand what they're feeling. You know, I understand, Mr. Seller, that you may feel this offer is too low. It is a reasonable offer, but, you know, are you comfortable making a counter offer? All those words are very common to people. I hear what you're saying. People want to be heard. You know, I was in a conversation and the lady was talking to me and I was saying, I hear what you're saying. And she wasn't even about to make a counter offer. She just wanted to make sure I understood what she was talking about. Sometimes that's all it is. Okay? Absolutely. Okay. So as we wrap this up, something I want to leave you with. Don't lose disagreements that I should win because it was the way I said things.
Repeat that for me, please.
Yeah,
Do not lose disagreements that, I won't make it personal. I shouldn't lose disagreements that I should win because of the way I said something. Okay, what I said was right, but the way I said it was wrong. Okay? Don't do that, especially in negotiations. You should win the majority of the time. I think there's a word in Proverbs that says, the right word spoken at the right time is just marvelous. Okay?
Say it again, please. Don't lose disagreement.
Don't lose disagreements that you should win because of the way you say things. Okay, there are two types of people. There's thermostat people and there's thermometer people, right? A thermometer actually gives you the temperature, if it's hot or if it's cold. A thermostat actually controls the temperature. So be a thermostat, don't be a thermometer, okay? Always set the tone, set the temperature. Raphael,
If I could add to what you just said
please.
before, in this day and age of text and email, not just what you say, but also how you write it.
Right.
Don't lose something because of how you write it. You gotta be careful on how you put it on paper, how you send that email, how you send that text. So it's just not verbal, but written.
Communication.
I think that's awesome, you know, as a matter of fact, whenever you're angry, try writing it down and see how it sounds. It will take a lot of the bite out of your anger, because sometimes when we speak without thinking things clearly, okay? Also, I want to leave you with this. I want you guys to be impeccable with your word. What impeccable means is without sin, which means when you talk, you want to make sure that the things that you say are gracious and they're full of mercy and love and favor. That's being impeccable, because whenever you speak bad of anyone, you're only talking bad of yourself first, okay? So hey, it's been a pleasure here talking about the negotiation. You guys learned a little something?
Yes.
Was it cool? Thank you so much. And for those of you out there that want to join our company, please give us a call. My name is Michael Johnson, partners Martine and Leonel. Call me at 310-968-6583. Thank you. See you next time.